Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Football Showdown. Sorry that I've been gone for a little bit. It's been busy with the holidays, but should be back with regular posting from here on out. Hope you guys enjoyed your holidays, got what you wanted for Christmas and all that good stuff, spend time with family and friends. But now that that's said, let's get into the video and why Jurgen Klopp is a genius. Look at this Liverpool squad, top of the table as of now. 42 points, I believe it is, one loss and 19 games played. We've played every team once now. We're at the halfway point and top of the table with a team that's been in a rebuild phase. Honestly, this team shouldn't be competing for the Premier League. Should be hoping to get back into the top four race and go from there. But because of Jurgen Klopp being one of the best managers in the world, in my opinion, the best manager in the world, has done the unthinkable, honestly. Rebuilt an entire midfield. Not very many managers can get rid of an entire midfield, not just, a couple players here and there, but literally all the midfield is gone except for Curtis Jones and Bacecic and Thiago. But basically, Bacecic and Thiago have been gone this entire time. So really, you only have one player who stayed from last year's midfield. Gravenberg is new, Endo's new, Zobazlai is new, McAllister, and to have these guys firing on all cylinders and going into the Premier League top of the table after Boxing Day is pretty impressive if you ask me. And I think he's underrated by the media, not getting the attention that he deserves and the credit. When you see managers like um, Bournemouth manager Iriola, I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but he deserves credit. But Jurgen Klopp does as well. You see other managers like De Zerbi or Ange or Arteta, they're getting the props that they deserve, while Klopp is being looked under the radar pretty much because he's been there, he's done it, but people are not understanding how hard that is to reinvigorate an entire midfield and get them going the way that Jurgen Klopp has. Endo, 16.5 mil or whatever it was from Stuttgart, a team that just barely survived relegation from the Bundesliga. And he turned him into a player who's now competing for a Premier League title. When we all signed him, everyone, Liverpool fan or not, was in shock because you're like, why would we sign this guy? He's not good enough. He doesn't belong to be playing at Liverpool Football Club. This is the biggest moment of his life, and he never thought he would get this move. Little do we know now that he's an important part of Liverpool and competing for a Premier League title. Now, do I think that we should improve? Absolutely. But is he as bad as we all thought he was going to be? Absolutely not. You see, there's stats going around about Liverpool with and without Endo this season, and we're conceding less than a goal a game with him on the pitch and more than a goal without him. We're gaining almost 3 points per game that he's played in and just over 2 points a game without him. So you could tell the little differences from a guy who's 16.5 mil from Stuttgart, who had the lowest of low expectations, shouldn't be able to perform the way he is, but because of Jurgen Klopp's man management and his ability to lead people and get the most out of these guys, is getting someone, a 31-year-old, to play some of the best football he's ever played. It's honestly unbelievable. And yes, Alexis McAllister is very good, but he's still getting a tune out of him in a way that we wouldn't have expected. Yes, he's been a little underwhelming, but he's also playing in a position that isn't his. You have Zobazlai, who was firing on all cylinders at the beginning of the season. Granted, taking a little drop, but he's still a new player. And we saw how great he was at the beginning of the season. And I'm sure he'll pick that form back up eventually. Gravenberg looking like a real player there. Jurgen Klopp instilling him with the confidence and love that he's been wanting from Bayern, that he's finally getting now at Liverpool. Curtis Jones playing unbelievable for us. He was someone who I had written off, said that he wasn't good enough to be a Liverpool player, but come to find out, he's a nice little quality piece, someone who we can have a title charge with. It's just unbelievable how much Klopp has reinvigorated this midfield and how little credit he's getting. Look at the defense. We're without a left back. We're playing a right back at left back at this point. And still, we're keeping clean sheets. Yes, it was against Burnley. Yes, it's not the biggest challenge. And sure, he can play left back, but he shouldn't be. He's not a left back. He's a right back or center back. Now having to play left back, and we're still winning games, keeping clean sheets. Held Saka to no goals, no assists. It's just really, really impressive what Jurgen Klopp is doing and the genius that he has and the just the mindset that he carries himself with, backing himself to get rid of Henderson, who was a vital part of Liverpool winning a Premier League and a Champions League. Same with Fabinho and James Milner, Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain. These guys just in the span of a couple months, he just said, "Look, we were below average. This is unacceptable. You guys have to go. I don't care who we get in. You guys have to go. I back myself to let go of everyone and bring in the guys that I want and I need in order to push for a Premier League title." And that's what he's done this season. Now, do I think that we will win the Premier League? I don't know, honestly, because Endo's going to be gone for the Asian Cup. I believe Asian Nation Cup or something like that. And then you have Mo Salah leaving for AFCON. It's going to be tough trying to replace those guys because thankfully Thiago and Bajcetic should be back by the time Endo leaves, so that won't be too big of a loss. But replacing Mo Salah, man, you can't do it. It's impossible. It's like trying to replace Steven Gerrard. There will never be another Steven Gerrard. There will never be another Mo Salah. There'll never be another Sadio Mane. But you do your best to try and cope without them. So I think Harvey Elliott will take that right wing spot, as he should. He's shown that he has those qualities and that he's capable of doing so. Obviously not to the levels of Mo Salah, but no one can reach those levels. So we just have to hope for the best. Hopefully Darwin Núñez can start firing. Luis Diaz, Jota's coming back at the right time, and he already scored a goal. He's going to be someone that we're going to have to massively rely on in order to win some of these games, because you can't count on Luis Diaz right now. He's in a rough patch. Cody Gakpo's pretty poor as well. Those guys, it's tough to get anything out of them right now. Darwin Núñez is hit or miss. You never know which Darwin you're going to get. Jota is proving to be a good player. He's proven that he can get goals, get assists, and that's what we're going to need when Salah leaves. Harvey Elliott, he hasn't really played there very much. Yes, he's shown things, but is that him being an impact sub or him playing against lesser quality teams? Or is that actually how good he can be in that right wing position? That's something that we'll have to find out in January. Now, let's talk about the Premier League in whole right now. Man City, they're kind of dropping off a little bit. Rodri, I saw, was injured. I don't know if he's coming back or not. They play Everton today. If they get a win, they're definitely back into the title race. If they draw or lose, it's at Goodison Park, and I believe Everton will give them a run for their money. Not saying that Everton are favorites or will win, but I think they'll get it respectable, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled off a good result against Man City. This is do or die for Man City right now, honestly. The title's starting to get to a point where it's all right. The gap is getting a little too far, even for a club like Man City, because of the form that we've seen them in so far right now. Sure, they've gone off and won the Club World Cup that no one knew about, but it's the Club World Cup. You're playing teams in Brazil, not to bash those teams, but they just don't have the financial capabilities to compete with a team like Manchester City. Because I do know that those teams are good quality. They have a lot of good players, but at a certain point, the money talks. And Marcelo, a guy who can't play in Europe, has to go to Brazil. You can only do so much with those guys. And they did play really good footy. I did like seeing them play from some of the highlights that I saw. I didn't know that the game was even playing. So I did see some of the highlights and some of the ball movement that they had was really, really on par. They had Man City chasing shadows. I don't know if that was during the end of the game when it was already wrapped up or if that was at the beginning of the game. But anyway, doesn't really matter. Let's just get back on topic to the Premier League title. Again, this is one for Man City to win. They have to win this if they are to try and compete with Arsenal and with Liverpool. And I do believe that Man City will win and that they will climb up towards the top of the table again, as Aston Villa are dropping off. And obviously, it's just Man City. Man City, you can never really write them off until you're towards the end of the season, or like when Liverpool dropped 2 points out of 27 games played. So I mean, it takes astronomical circumstances to be able to derail Manchester City, and they will be in this title race till the end. I think that they are the biggest competitor to Liverpool. I'm not too worried about Arsenal. I've been on this train since day one. Arsenal aren't legit competitors. They are a good team, but they're just not there. You have to have a world-class manager. You have to have world-class players, and they just don't have it. Bukayo Saka's world-class by default. I was talking to my cousin about this the other day. He's world-class by default because the right-wing position is so poor. There's no one there. Like Domenico Berardi from Sassuolo is one of the best right-wingers right now because that's just how few players there are in that position. The quality is just so bare, but that shouldn't be a credit to Bukayo Saka. That's just everyone else being so poor in that position. Key players who are world class, in my opinion, I think there's only two to three really, and I would go Salah and Rodrigo. Other than that, I'm kind of struggling. I'm probably forgetting one guy, but outside of that, off the top of my head, I can't really think of any other world-class players. Saliba isn't world-class. I saw that Liverpool-Arsenal game. I really wanted to talk about it, but I just got real busy. Saliba's not even the best French center back out there. How he won man of the match, I have no idea. It should have been Konate or VVD. One of those guys, not Saliba. If anything, Arsenal were lucky to get away with a point in that game. Yeah, I'll end it here. It's getting a little bit too long. But yeah, never mind. I was going to say another thought, but that'll be for another video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you haven't, please like, comment, share, subscribe. It'd be much greatly appreciated. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.